I want to measure it, like you want to stick it right down into the ear canal.
Okay.
So the way they crop their ears, they're actually cupped. So when you put it down, you're going into that cup.
Okay.
It's not going to go right into his actual ear canal and hurt anything.
Just into the...
Yeah, so it sits right into this cup. You can feel it down there.
Yeah.
And then you want to go just a little higher, because if you go too short and this top flops over, it's really hard to get corrected too far down the road. So you kind of want to overshoot a little bit.
Sure.
And you can get this at any hardware store. Like, I think I picked it up at Home Depot, but I've got a little bit in your bag for you.
Okay, perfect.
And then...
So do I have enough for like the first posting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And I mean, you can reuse it too if you needed to, as long as it's still clean. So we tape it so that it sticks a little bit into the ear to make it easier. So you just start and then you go back on itself so that you've got the adhesive side. Stay red. Out.
Hey, buddy. Boy.
I'm not using really great tape on him. It's just because these stitches are still there. So. But then, and normally, like, unless she's still really scabby, you don't really need to use
That's
the pad anymore. So I'm gonna get that right in there. Put this in here just so I don't have to deal with trying to soak it out later. And that's if you ever get tape or anything on, just, I mean, you'd know that from people, you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Don't just yank it off.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Moisten it
Yes.
so that...
So it comes off, yeah, yeah.
So this is gonna look ugly just because of the stitches still being there and not pulling them. I'm gonna tape around. Both sides, I didn't tear my tape long enough. Right up to the top. Trim off this excess. Again at the base here. I kind of like where they're active here, kind of cover them right up. So you can see, like I use the clear tape because I'm almost out of my paper tape. I really like the paper tape because if they do get caught, it does just tear nicely.
Yeah.
You usually won't get too long out of it when you tape it that way, but it's not a bad thing. So, right down in, feels funny, I know. And then we do the other side, and then we just do a little bridge to hold them together. Check this.
And so how long is the posting? Is it's actually 6 months? Is it?
Not with this vet.
Okay.
She does a phenomenal job for us, and most of the pets the last time were standing within a couple weeks. Like we had one here that because he would play with his mom, he was the last one to be picked up, and it was like 3 weeks after they got done. And he would come out of his posts all the time, and they would stand perfectly fine. But so after she's standing well, you want to go at least 2 weeks longer, and then if you see any sort of flop again, keep posting.
Okay.
Each one is different. Like she had a nice medium crop done. So, and like the way the vet does them with the nice, like where she sutures it so well at the bottom, they stand quickly, they stand well. Nice. We did have one, I think she was leaning in her ears, but they had corrected that. It was just the odd time you end up with. And like we're always just a text or phone call away.
Yes.
So, like don't hesitate. I mean, I prefer when it's not like midnight and stuff, but I mean, shit happens, that's fine. No, princess or Mika. Sit down, big man. And with that inside out tape, it is a pain. As they get a bit bigger, you don't really need to do that so much. It's just nice when they're younger because it helps hold it in there a bit for you. especially if you're doing it, like if you're by yourself and doing it. And I find that if you have them, like I usually set them on the counter because they're at a perfect height then. It's, it makes it just a little bit nicer than trying to hold them in your lap or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they're stable, so they can...
Yeah. So, and then you just want to do a little bridge.
And so how tight do you do the bridge? Like, I guess just that?
Yeah, just kind of where they're standing upright. This just stops them from falling over to the outside on you more than anything. That crummy tape. And just like that. Then you can go over it to make it look prettier and stuff like that. Like, not the prettiest job